We spend a lot of time thinking about what we should say yes to. But what if the most powerful choices we make are actually about what we refuse to do? It's this idea, this art of refusal that really defines who we are. And it all comes down to one single powerful word. Okay, so think about it. Saying no usually feels, well, negative, right? Like you're shutting something down. But what if I told you that sometimes saying no is actually the biggest, most powerful yes you can give? A yes to your values, to who you are, and to the person you're trying to become. And this whole idea is anchored in one incredible Hebrew word, vayamain. Literally, it translates to, and he refused. But this isn't some passive, nah, I'm good. No way. This is an active, powerful refusal. It's like drawing a line in the sand and saying, this is what I stand for, and I will not cross it. So this one word, vayamein, it's amazing. It actually connects a father and a son in two totally different but super important stories. We're talking about Jacob and Joseph. And for both of them, this word pops up at a moment of absolute crisis. Okay, let's break this down. On one hand, you've got Jacob. His refusal? It's all about grief, just overwhelming sadness. Then you've got his son, Joseph, and his refusal comes from a place of intense temptation. So totally different situations, right? But here's the kicker. The reason why they refuse is the same. They're both holding on to something that is absolutely fundamental to who they are. So let's dive into Jacob's story first. Imagine this. You're told your absolute favorite son is dead. Everyone, your whole family is trying to comfort you. But Jacob, he refuses. He says, Vayima'ain. Why? Well, think about it. If he accepts their comfort, he's accepting that Joseph is really truly gone. By refusing, he's keeping that door open, just a crack. He's holding on to hope. His no to comfort is a massive yes to his son's memory. All right, now fast forward a bunch of years. We find his son, Joseph, in a completely different kind of crisis. He's a slave in Egypt, totally isolated, and his master's wife is, well, she's making a move on him. And what does he do? He refuses. Vayama'in. And look, this isn't just him trying to stay out of trouble. This is him all alone, standing up and affirming everything he was taught, everything his family stands for. So what was he really refusing to give up? He was saying yes to the values his father taught him. The story tells us that in that exact moment of temptation, he literally sees the image of his father. And that becomes his anchor, his reminder of what's truly important. That's his line in the sand. Okay, so this whole idea of refusal, it's not just for individuals. It can scale up, big time. It can actually define an entire nation. And the perfect example of this? The story of Hanukkah. So we've seen one person, Joseph, take a stand. But what happens when a whole community, an entire people, collectively says, Vayama'in, we refuse? Well, that's when you can literally change the course of history. And the stakes here were unbelievably high. We're talking about the Second Temple period. The Greeks who were in charge, they weren't just making suggestions. They issued decrees to basically wipe out Jewish identity. People were ordered to abandon their faith, their laws, even their property and their daughters. It was a full-on assault on their entire way of life. So what was the response? A massive collective no. But here's the crucial part. This wasn't really about saying no to Greek culture. It was about saying a resounding yes to their own. They were refusing to let go of the very thing that, as they put it, gives us life, their faith, their heritage, their soul. So what's the outcome when a whole people takes such a courageous stand? What does that kind of massive no get you? Well, the result can pretty much be summed up by this one number. Over 200 years. That's what. Over 2 centuries of restored sovereignty for Israel. Because they refused to give in, the Hasmoneans rose up, they fought back, and they won their independence. That is the power of a principled refusal. Now, this is awesome history, but it's not just history. This whole idea of vayumayen, this powerful, affirming no, it's just as real and relevant for us today as it was back then. There's a straight line that connects Jacob and Joseph and the heroes of Hanukkah right to, well, to you, to us. We all face these moments, right? They can be huge, they can be tiny, but we all have to decide what we refuse to give up on, what we refuse to become. So, how do we actually do this in our own lives? It starts by figuring out our non-negotiables. What are those? They're the core values, the things that are so important to us that we refuse to compromise on them. They're what keep us grounded, what guide our decisions, kind of like how that image of his father guided Joseph. It's our own internal compass. And that brings us to the final question, and it's one that only you can answer. When things get tough, when the pressure's on and you're being asked to bend on who you are, what are you going to refuse to let go of? What are your non-negotiables?